What's going on, everybody? B. Scott here with
GOD.
And on today's show, we're going with the NFC West. You got the San Francisco 49ers already ruling the division, but Los Angeles Rams lost a lot of pieces. Arizona Cardinals, adding D-Hop, and the Seattle Seahawks, they're always there. So, at the end of the day, here's our predictions for the NFC West. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the First Four Downs.
Drop it.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to today's show. We're going to be going over the NFC West. So before we get into today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, hit the thumb, hit the bell, and as always, leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing and any future shows you want to see from us. We got some ideas coming through the works, but, you know, always much appreciated, some interaction. So on today's show, we can start from the top, and actually that's going to be the bottom of the NFC West. So
nice.
Arizona Cardinals. This is a team that is in definitely a rebuilding mode. Cliff Kingsbury comes in. High-powered spread offense. You got Kyler Murray. You saw last year he came on a little stronger at the end, getting more comfortable in the offense. They trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Huge trade in the offseason. You know what I mean? Crazy. They had a top 5 wide receiver. So it's perfect for the system and what they want to do over there. They trade David Johnson, who was struggling in the last few years, injuries and whatnot. You already saw what Chase Edmonds can do, what Kenyon Drake can do. So I think they'll be okay at the running back position. Now, you look at the defensive side of the football.
Sucks.
Bottom 5.
Yeah.
You know, and they addressed it in the draft, their first pick. They drafted inside linebacker Simmons.
Yeah.
You know, so
Simmons.
Absolutely he should fit right in and take care of business to help sew up that defense that really, really struggled. You saw last year the tight ends dominated them. So
Exactly.
I still think they're going to struggle, and I got them this year at 6-10.
I agree with you on all those points. You know, I just don't think, you know, even with all the additions that they had, obviously they're going in the right direction. You know what I mean? Just they're improving, getting better on both sides of the ball, but they're not there quite to compete for the division.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at the schedule. There's a lot of question marks.
Yes.
They may be able to beat some teams, they may be able to not, but at a safe floor, I'm giving them 6-10 as well. You know what I mean? It's going to be exciting to see, though. DeAndre Hopkins, who's been quarterback-proof in his career.
Yeah.
With Kyler Murray, you know, and then you got the tandem with Chase Edmonds and Kenyon Drake. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah.
With Hakeem Butler, Larry Fitzgerald in the slot, all that mixed in together. I'm excited to see it in the NFC West, but I still think they might be just right there at the bottom of that division. You look at the LA Rams, are they that bad to be considered worse than the Cardinals? I'm not really sure.
No, yeah. So you got them right there with me, 6-10.
Around 6-10, somewhere around.
Absolutely. And they're moving in the right direction, don't get me wrong, but the problem is there's some powerhouses.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the Los Angeles Rams just last season, coming off of a Super Bowl loss to the New England Patriots, and they actually really struggled.
Yeah,
you know, you were worried about the Todd Gurley health, you know, and you saw it. When it came out, they didn't give him enough love.
And we called it.
Absolutely. So they didn't give him enough love. They struggled to run the football. You already know that Jared Goff thrives off the play-action pass, and so they couldn't run the football. So, you know, they really struggled. Now, this year, they cut Todd Gurley altogether. They're like, you know what? We'll just move on. $50 million down the drain. You know what I mean? Essentially, because they still owe him that much money.
Yeah, they still didn't pay the signing bonus.
Absolutely. So they still owe him a lot of money. So they bring in Cam Akers. They get a little younger on the running back position. Wide receivers. Trade Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is crazy because he's been so effective on every team he's played for. He's only been in the league, 5-6 years, and he's already played for 3 teams. You know, it's crazy to think about, but now they trade him to the Houston Texans. And Josh Reynolds absolutely, I think, can be a factor in that offense. Yeah, he can be a factor in that offense, but I don't know how much they're going to improve, and I don't think they're going to improve as an overall team. They did lose a little veteran leadership on the defensive side. Clay Matthews, Dante Fowler, but they still got Aaron Donald. They lost Littleton. That's huge, too, for the inside linebackers. And they still got Jalen Ramsey. So they have some stud defensive players, but they got a lot of holes to fill. So I absolutely think the Rams are going to finish right around 8-8. They're just a team that I think can finish with 8 wins. Now, would it shock me that they had 6 wins? No.
Yeah.
Would it shock me if they had 9 wins? No. But I think they're going to finish right at that 500 mark.
Yeah, that's what I think. You know what? They're like the Browns to me. You know, on paper, they're too good not to win half of their games. But then you look at the schedule. They open up at home against the Dallas Cowboys, which is a home game for the Dallas Cowboys, because nobody shows up to the Rams games. They don't have no fans.
Yeah.
Then on the road against the Eagles on the East Coast. Then the Buffalo Bills. Okay. Then you come home, a home game. Then you go back on the road to the Washington Redskins, who I think is going to be a pretty decent football team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you lose there and then have to come back to the West Coast to play the 49ers, you could be sitting in a hole where you're 0-5. I mean, you know, with potentially 5 losses right there.
Yep.
At that point, are they tanking? Or are they still trying to be competitive for the division? You know what I mean? So it's a very tough situation with the Rams. I think, honestly, with the money that they own and the money that they got in these big contracts, it probably is the best fit for them to tank. So it's kind of scary. So, yeah, I do got them third in the division. You know, I'm going to give them a 4-8-8. Just because of the players that they have on defense. Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jalen Ramsey. We just said that. And then Goff perennially is going to throw 4,000 yards.
Yep.
You know, Reynolds in the mix. Cooper Kupp's there. Tyler Higbee should take another turn as well. You know, you still got Robert Woods, who's a pro. So, I mean, that's there. But are they actually going to win these games? Their schedule's pretty tough.
Yep.
You know, so that's where I got them to.
Yeah, of course. So, we got the Los Angeles Rams finished right around 500 at best. Yeah. So, we can move to the powerhouses, the top 2 teams in the division. They duked it out last year. You saw it. I think this year it might be, there's going to be a little more of a gap. But we can start with the Seattle Seahawks. Now, personally, they didn't get much better. You know, they didn't. Did they have to? Not necessarily. They could have improved on, in the secondary. They got a couple older linebackers on the inside. They're still good. Don't get me wrong. KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, those guys are beasts. You know, they lose to Jadeveon Clowney. Still hasn't signed nowhere yet.
I think he'll still on back.
So we're just still in the wait and see. But the defense, you got the 12th man. That is a huge factor. And
especially when it start raining and shit. You know.
Yeah, of course. But that's the thing. With the coronavirus, you ain't filling the stadium. That could be a huge factor. They play on the crowd. It's gonna make an impact for a lot of teams. So, Seattle Seahawks, I got them at 10 wins, and the reason I got them so high at 10 wins is because they still have Russell Wilson, who can be an MVP candidate every single year. You know, he really knows how to carry the load. Pete Carroll takes care of business as head coach. They're very similar to me, like the Green Bay Packers, where they may not have the prettiest offense, they may not have the prettiest defense, but they know how to win football games. They know how to get it done. Yeah. So, running backs, they're hurt.
I think that's the biggest concern about the offense.
Yeah.
Is the running backs. You know, they bring Carlos Hyde. This is a seasoned vet. They bring him in for a reason.
Of course.
You're looking at Rashard Penny and Chris Carson. We don't know what their health is going to be going into the season. So, that's a good signing, though, for them. You know, Carlos Hyde. But then you look at DK Metcalf, who's a monster. This is a man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think next year he should take another turn. I think he's gonna be one of those kids that's 1,200 yards, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdown type of player.
Yes.
And you still got Tyler Lockett for the deep ball. But what fascinates me a lot is they brought in Philip Dorsett. Speedster, pretty good guy. You know what I mean? Then you got a vet in Greg Olsen, who, I mean, honestly, in the beginning half of the season, you have Will Disley there. He was a top 5 tight end.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he'll be back healthy again. So they're going to run the football. They're going to thrive all those play actions that they always do. And I think DK is going to be even better. You have these other pro guys, and you got Russell Wilson. You got Danger Russ right there. You know what I mean? That's at least, whatever floor you give him, he's at least going to push you 3 more games. You know what I'm saying? He's a winner.
Yeah.
And they're very well coached. Pete Carroll just seems to know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, they had a solid defense. And Carroll has this niche for finding these players in the draft who are pro-ready. Not necessarily first-round talent.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Hype is hype. But he actually get those guys that come in and, ready to play day one.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's whatever with Seattle. They're going to be right there in the mix.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's why I have them right there at the 10-win mark. 10-6. They could win one more game. They could lose one more game. Yeah. Plus or minus. But we go to the heavyweight.
Yeah.
The hometown team. We're from SAC, San Francisco 49ers. Yeah. They shocked a lot of people last year.
Shocked the world.
Absolutely. They flat out dominated from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. That defense was lights out. No joke. And it's going to be around the same, you know. You saw what Fred Warner did on the inside at the linebacker position. Played very well. Nick Bosa, you know, they did make the big move. They traded DeForest Buckner. They had to save some money, you know, so it made sense. They picked up the Colts pick and drafted his replacement.
Yeah, Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Deebo Samuel, hurt. They lose Emmanuel Sanders. Little veteran presence, you know, in the wide receiver core. But I think this team's going to play good enough defense, and they're going to be able to run the football. They did lose Breida, but you don't know what McKinnon's going to do if he even sees the field.
Yeah.
You still got Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, man. Over the last 6 weeks, nothing short of outstanding.
Yeah.
Top 5 back, you know. So we'll have to wait and see, but I think the 49ers, I have them at 12-4. They could win 14 games probably, you know, just looking at the schedule. And it's not that hard of a schedule, really. They got a couple tough games that I think could go either way. Almost all their games can go either way.
Yeah.
But I have them slotted 12-4. Safe pick.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know, nobody predicted these guys being in the Super Bowl. As the season went along, I you know what I'm saying, just the DNA of that team, I just know that team. You know what I mean? I think I called it Super Bowl with them in it.
Oh, yeah.
Losing that Super Bowl, right? To a T.
Run the damn football, don't throw the football.
Yeah.
Put your trust in Garoppolo. That totally makes sense. But anyway.
For a team that won 4-12, come around to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, they did tremendous things. You know what I mean? This time around, though, do they have a Super Bowl hangover? I wouldn't necessarily say they do. I think Deebo Samuels absolutely hurts them. You know, especially with a foot injury. That could be something that he has a timetable to return and is not good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it could linger all year. I mean, he could be ready for week 1, but it could linger. And but you know how foot injuries are, especially for wide receivers. So.
Yeah. So I think they need to address that with a veteran presence. There's a lot of rumors going around that Dez Bryant might be the guy that's coming into camp. But also, Jalen Hurd, this kid's a monster. We haven't seen him yet. He got hurt in preseason. This kid is an absolute he lines up anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge factor. And then you're looking at it. You know, Big Joe Staley, he finally retired. But they went and got Trent Williams. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's very adequate for that.
And signed him automatic to an extension. So
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I think the offense don't really necessarily lose a step, but the quarterback still sucks in my opinion. I don't know. You know, the defensive side, I think they're still gonna be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Period. So you look at a lot of those Super Bowl hangover teams, they lose a lot of players. I mean, honestly, they ain't lost nobody. They lost Breida. We predicted that to happen. You know what I mean? Because the backfield was just crowded.
Yeah, of course.
They had to get rid of a contract. Yep. But I mean, looking at the schedule, they're going to win these games. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be a team that could be 12-4. If you say they're going to split 2 games with a division foe, that's understandable. Or they could struggle with the Patriots and at the Saints.
Yeah.
They did beat the Saints at the Saints last year, but
it was a very close game.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You got Emmanuel Sanders, who was on that San Francisco 49ers team last year, on the Saints this year. That could be a struggle game right there.
Yeah.
So I got them ranging anywhere between 12-4 at a floor, but 14-2 at the best. And honestly, I really don't see them with that record in the Super Bowl. I think the team that's going to come out of the NFC will be in our next video, the NFC South.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement. So, absolutely, 49ers definitely are going to rule the division. But you can never sleep on the Seattle Seahawks. Never. The Rams, Cardinals, you know, they're in the works, but
yeah.
So, that's been our predictions of the NFC West. Don't forget, like I said, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. So, it's been B. Scott.
G.O.D.
And we out.
Yeah.